Congratulations on the Caretaker. It is so action-packed, and yet there's so much going on behind the action that it feels like a very complete movie that where did this idea come from and why make this?
I did a movie called The Gardener a few years ago with the same lead actor, Robert Bronzi. About a gardener, kind of an immigrant gardener that has to protect his family from home invaders. And that one did really well. We sold it to Lionsgate, and it's done very well internationally. And so I was coming up with ideas for another action film, and I had filmed at this place, Nelson Ghost Town, out in the outside Las Vegas for another movie called Space Wars Quest for the Deep Star. And I was like, oh, this is a great location for a kind of an action feature. And so somehow, yeah, the idea for Caretaker started to kind of form in my mind. It was kind of always intended to be a Robert Bronzi vehicle
Mhm.
for him, him as the kind of reclusive, quiet caretaker of this, ghost town tourist attraction closed for the off season, and he has to protect somebody coming through there from these violent criminals. But it just seemed like another kind of good bronzy movie in the vein of The Gardener. So yeah, just kind of, so I came up, wrote a treatment, and then Joe Netter is a writer who I've worked with on several other projects, and he wrote the script, and we just kind of went back and forth and went from there. Yeah.
Definitely. And from being an action thriller, this is also a redemption story in so many different facets. Um, the supporting cast for Bronzy, how was that cast, and um, how do you begin to create their backstory because they also have their own story going on throughout this entire thing?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of that was with the script, but we just wanted to surround him with good people. And Rampage Jackson, my friend, was his manager, and I had met Rampage at an after party a couple years ago. So I kind of wanted to work with him for a while. And then Daniel Baldwin, I'd done two movies with, and wanted to do another one with him. Avriana Rose is kind of the female lead, and she's great.
Mhm.
um, and just turned in a great performance for somebody young. She's only has a few feature credits, but she was a great attitude, and and then to round it out with people like Paul Logan, who I'd worked with years ago. He plays King, kind of the head of the, we call him the four card studs,
Mhm.
and then Jacob Southwick, who was wrestled under the name Madman Fulton. I'd done a movie with him years ago in Ohio, actually a Bronzy prison movie. But I just knew he was a big guy, and I met him. I met him in April in an event. We had kind of reconnected at an event like April of last year. He's a big guy. He's like, I don't know, 6'8", 6'9", and we just needed somebody that could fight Rampage. We needed somebody
Mhm.
bigger than Rampage, so that's kind of why we wanted to cast him, and just rounded it out with some good guys. And a lot of it was just open casting calls. But yeah, because several of the key roles were people I'd never worked with before, and they just turned in great performances. But yeah, that's how it all happened.
It seems like the locations you guys were at fit your characters very well. They seem to be very much um a part of it. Like it seems like every single location you guys shot at fit your character. Knowing that where you were gonna shoot, do you go out looking for these people, or do you just make the characters fit because you already know that this location so well?
Yeah, yeah, you know the location pretty well. In this case, again, I'd filmed there before, although briefly, but the writer Joe Netter had done a whole feature that was shot there. And again, almost all of our movie was shot at Nelson Ghost Town. So yeah,
Mhm.
you just kind of see, okay, we'd like to go in they have like an old abandoned silver mine or something. Let's shoot in
Mhm.
the mine. Let's shoot in the mine house. Let's shoot by the chapel. So it's all that stuff that comes into play, and trying to get as much production value on screen with the locations. And then we have a strip club that we scouted that just looked perfect. It was kind of the strip club you see in like movies. We're like, this is,
Mhm.
I think it was the only one that we actually scouted, and it was perfect the first time we saw it. And then the mansion that we found for Daniel Baldwin's house, I think, some friends had used that before and had good things to say about the location. And again, it just looked perfect for us. Yeah, we thought it fit his character well.
Mhm. Bronzy has a very stoic way about him. How do you direct a person like that? A person whose facial expression is a big part of their acting.
Yeah. You have to. I think. I think you kind of have to rein him in because he's a nice guy, and I always say, "Beat, you're the strong silent type. Like the less you say, the better." Um, this is kind of the most bronzy bronzy movie in that respect because he doesn't say a lot of dialogue, but when he says something, you want it to be important. You
Mhm,
know, we it kind of harkens back. I tell people it's kind of like the Clint Eastwood, Sergio Leone westerns of the 60s,
mhm,
the good and the bad, the ugly, and for a few dollars more and fistful of, he doesn't say much. And Once Upon a Time in the West with Charles Bronson, like they don't say much, but when they say something, it needs to be important, but they need to, speak with their eyes and their expressions. And that's what I try to tell Bronzy. Um, Sometimes he just talks too much. I'm like, no, don't say anything. Don't say
mhm,
thank you or whatever to somebody. Just don't say anything. Just your expression says it all.
mhm.
But yeah, but he's a big fan of Charles Bronson, and so we just kind of try to channel that mystique or attitude, so to speak.
Well, it does have that Charles Bronson type of feel to this movie. This also feels like you said, a very modern Western.
Mm.
Why? What movies were you inspired by in order to create something like this?
Oh gosh. Um, I mean, it's kind of the typical thing of you're stuck in a town in a kind of a one location. It's what was it, like Rio Bravo, Assault on Precinct 13, stuff like that. When you're kind of trapped one place and you've got to protect somebody. It's almost like a home invasion movie, but it's not in a home. It's in like a ghost town. So it's kind of that thing. Um, yeah, but that's kind of the basis for that. Yeah.
This film has a lot of very good, just captivating scenes. Is there a scene
Mhm.
that you're most proud of in this film?
I don't know. I like a lot of the. I thought a lot of the fight scenes turned out well. The fight with Rampage and his character Hudson, and then Ace, who's Jacob Southwick, that turned out really well. Um, the fight with Bronzy and Freddie in the garage near the beginning, I thought
Mm,
that was good. I loved a lot of Daniel Baldwin's scenes. He improvised, he kind of ad libbed a lot of his funnier lines in the movie, and it turned out really well. We had a lot of pages to shoot with him, and in a limited time at that location. And he just turned in a great performance.
mhm,
So I kind of, I like the speech he gives about, his dog Butch and stuff like that. But
mhm.
I don't know. I don't know if I have like just one scene I like. There's several that I think stand out and are I think are strong scenes.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on this film. It is phenomenal. I thought the action was incredible. The acting is amazing. Your actors fit their characters very well. And thank you so much for your time and spending some time
Thank
chatting with me.
thank you. Yeah, yeah. Catch it out there now. It's on all the streaming platforms and Amazon everywhere. And got a lot of foreign interest too. So hopefully it gets out there and people see it. So
Awesome.
thank you for your time.